Hello, welcome to another day in my life of trying to lose weight to become slender, like Asian skinny. Not Western skinny, but Asian skinny. Because, fun fact, I am Asian. And I think the Asian beauty standard, I've always felt that aesthetically that resonates with me more. And I am doing this because of aesthetics. One thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately is the attitudes in Western culture about diet culture. I think it's interesting how very, very slim, slender bodies are seen as the ideal body type through media and, through other means. In real life, I see thin people getting privileges that perhaps a person in an average body would not, right? And I always think it's interesting how people always conflate having a thin build to having an ED. And while that may be the case sometimes, I'm not denying that, I think that becomes dangerous when you tell people, this ideal peak female physique, that can only be achieved through an ED. Well, if you want that physique, what is that messaging telling you? You have to align yourself with having an ED to obtain a thin physique? I don't think so. I think you can achieve that physique through actually very healthy means, but it will take a long time, which is fine. That's just how the world works. And I had a culture cup for the first time. It was nice. It was like a Haagen-Dazs almost, but it felt milky, which makes sense because this company makes their ice cream with this very milk concentrated. It was nice. It tastes kind of like, if I remember correctly, breast milk. It's got that sweetness, which I don't know. But yeah, I was just thinking about that and how I think I talked about this in the other video, but just how Western women recognize that beauty is a competition because everything, as a culture, Western culture is very individualistic. So a person becoming thinner is a direct threat because the culture is always based on competitiveness, whether we want to admit to that or not. I can admit to it, I'm a very competitive person. If everybody was skinny and slender, well, then there would be a new standard, right? I just think it's funny how people online are always talking about how I guess diet creators are they want other people to be slender, actually, and I don't think it behooves them to have the general population be slender because that puts them at a disadvantage, at least in Western culture, right? It is competitive, but in Asia, there's slight competition always exists, right? But it is more of a collectivist culture, and somebody quote unquote looking good reflects on their family and their general community, which I think is very interesting. And it is, in some ways it is toxic, but the other version is toxic too, because you are denying people of their needs. Now, if they're unhealthy, actually unhealthy, that's one thing, but I just pretending to care about people's health is under the guise of intrasexual competition is evil. And if we are going to be completely honest, I want to lose weight for obviously main reason is aesthetics and purely aesthetics. Health is secondary to that, obviously, but there's a lot of social benefits with being thin, and so I don't know why somebody would actively deny somebody their wishes and goals if it's not hurting anybody else and it's not even doing harm to them. I think a lot of it is political competition because, again, I think a lot of it is intrasexual competition. And it's interesting seeing thin women perpetuate this because I have a sneaking suspicion is that they don't want it to be the norm, because when being very, very thin becomes the norm, well, then there's got to be another thing. My theory is that it's going to be the face, which I will work on. Again, these are vanity diaries. I am going to be as hot as possible. I don't care. That's all I care about. Literally, all I care about are my looks. And I think it's really interesting too, because people are always like, oh, like if you care about your looks, like you're gonna get old. Okay, so what you're saying is right now is the prime time to care about my looks then. So I better take advantage of my youth because it's slowly running out, to consider being hot and getting hot. And so I've always, again, this is like a theme, but I've always been resentful of everybody's beautiful, like, your looks don't matter. And so that sort of mentality, I'm not taking accountability because it was my decision, but that whole sort of confidence culture I deeply resent, because I could have spent that time losing weight and like fixing my face. Do you know what I mean? In my youth, and I could have been much better looking when I was younger. Do you know what I mean? And I'm still young and I have time, but things like weight loss and like various surgeries, they take time. At least, time for funds, and weight loss takes time, because if you lose weight too fast, you will look unaesthetic, and that's something that I have to like wrap my head around. And also I have to build muscle, but I don't want to, but I know it has health benefits, so that totally sucks. But it's the psychological aspect of seeing the number on the scale go up that I'm scared is going to deter me from my whole journey. Yes, I can take measurements, but I haven't really been taking inches measuring my body, because it's kind of a hassle. Like when the cold measuring tape just wraps against your waist, it's like, ooh, a little shock. So I don't do that very often. And fun fact, I actually don't look at my body very often. Which I should. I think I should body check more often, which is a ridiculous sentence. But to me, if I love myself too much and I just don't care and I have zero shame, I literally will forget that I exist in a body. And so I need, again, something external to remind me like, hey, this is what's going on. So yeah, I just think it's very interesting. And I think following Asian beauty, yes, Asian beauty standards can be toxic, but being Asian, it's something that I kind of resonate more with. And I like the culture around Asian dieting, because, it's more supportive. And speaking of supportive, one thing that I have always been thinking about is the fact that men actually support each other in their physique goals for the most part. Okay, men don't really shame each other for wanting a certain physique. Yes, there are outliers, and yes, there's intrasexual competition where they, criticize each other for, it certainly exists, but I think it happens way too often with women, way too often under the guise of care. I mean, it's like bullshit. Like, you don't care. You don't care. I know you don't care. Because if you did care, like, where's the energy for not just like overeating, but where's the energy for drinking and vaping and all that stuff? Do you know what I mean? And screen time. Right? I have that problem. It's actually a serious health concern that's affecting people, but you don't care about that, because deep down, a lot of the things that women do in the pursuit of beauty, even if they don't say it, and even if they don't care necessarily about weight loss, deep down, it's about achieving this slender feminine physique, or at least, when you think about, again, I bring this up all the time, contouring for hollow cheeks and getting, is it Ulthera, Sculptra for your chin to slim your face, face slimming, just things like that. It's, why can't women support each other? And of course, you can definitely, it can be dangerous. The pursuit of extreme thinness, it definitely can be dangerous. There are complications like low blood pressure, heart failure specifically, and also like refeeding syndrome. But you can also experience those things, not necessarily low blood pressure, but, heart issues when guys I guess, sort of bodybuild and obtain their physique, but men don't really chastise each other for achieving their goals. And I just think it's very interesting because it is a sign of ambition to pursue any sort of body. Like if you have a goal that's like a certain body type, and then pursuing that, I think it can trigger a lot of people who are not willing to put in that effort, and they want to maintain the status quo, which I think can be a little psychologically violent. I think so. And that does not mean I don't support people, because if you want to be big, hell yeah, you can be big. That has nothing to do with me, just like how me wanting to be small has nothing to do with you. And even if it was, let's say hypothetically it was unhealthy, how does that affect you? There are other things that people do that are unhealthy, but nobody cares. So I'm just gonna pursue what I want, and that's honestly the only way to live life. Some people have different goals, and some people want to look a certain way, and some people don't, and that's just life. Who cares? All right, Godspeed.